Hey, it's Brian from the Tone Jerks podcast here. Before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to let you know about that contest that we're doing with Fat Foot Effects. So one lucky person is going to win a limited edition, like custom artwork, Boost drive pedal from Fat Foot Effects. And all you have to do is repost an image. It'll be in our show notes and also on our Instagram. And then hashtag Fat Jerks Giveaway. And then you just follow the Tone Jerks, follow Fat Foot Effects on Instagram, tag 2 friends. Contest starts today, and it will end on October 27th. We will announce the winner on October 30th. So we'll put all the info in the show notes, and we'll put it on our Instagram. So let's get on with the episode. Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we have
Kyle McIntyre.
And in the studio guest. It's been a long time coming. We have
Jim Bowers.
Mr. Jimmy B over here.
Welcome to the show, Jimmy B.
The infamous Jimmy B.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me drive down.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming all the way
You didn't get the limo? We sent a limo up there for you.
No.
The TTJ
Probably got stuck in
limo.
all the traffic in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we had a jacuzzi in the back and everything for you.
Was I going to be the only person in it?
Yes.
Yeah,
With some floaties in there, too.
yeah, we got a rubber ducky in there.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Safety first.
And so we don't drown.
You don't want to drown on the freeway. It's like the worst way to die.
Yes.
That's the worst way to die is drown.
I can't think of many ways that would be worse.
I'm gonna take
He
your word
drowned on the freeway.
Take your word on
Okay.
that one, man. You're on the 5 o'clock news. Apparently, he drowned in the
And
spa.
today, on the 405,
A jacuzzi in the back of a limo from the 80s.
With the same water.
the solo occupant somehow drowned in the back pool.
You just belly.
No, belly up.
Oh,
for
no,
sure.
not
Belly up.
your belly up. Yeah. Okay. I think that's probably how this episode's going to be.
Yeah,
But,
do a lot of that.
Prelude right there.
Before we get more into it, let's hit the what's news. Kyle, what is new in your world? What is shaking? What is grooving?
Yeah, I got some patch cables, some do-it-yourself, some solderless ones.
You got some. I think we got some.
Well, I mean, they have my name on it.
The Tone Jerks got some.
the Tone Jerks did.
Who sent them to us?
So this is from 3 Monkeys.
Oh, yeah, 3 Monkeys.
So we have a solderless DC set they sent, and then a patch set.
Yes.
So they're actually super easy to use.
Yes.
You literally you slice off a little bit of wire, whatever length you want, and screw it right in.
And then you actually didn't even do that. You kind of just went for it.
I just kind of slid it right in, and because I wanted the full length.
Yeah.
I don't want to
you
cut these
did.
down.
Ayo!
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
And
That's why I'm here.
and they worked.
Yeah, no, they worked right off the bat.
So we compared these to not throwing any shade, but the George L's. To me, I have no reason why they don't, but sometimes the George L's just don't work. That's it.
There's a lot of play in there, but these are super tight. Like
Sweet.
just crank it in there. You toy like a toy.
And so first try, you got these to work. Pass signal sounds great. It sounds fucking awesome. We did a test.
Jim was here.
Yep.
Yep.
No volume loss, no anything.
He can
They're
verify.
great.
We need a DV meter.
And
Remember that sound?
maybe, but yeah, to me, I'm like, that's what's cool because I want to say the George L's are a little more if you cut them wrong, you gotta be you gotta snip that end off again.
Yeah, another quarter inch or a little bit longer.
Sometimes you need that.
No, they're really cool.
Quarter
So
inch can be everything.
and it's super easy. I think that's what's cool is that you want to make it easy and you don't the barrier to entry of making patch cables. If you're oh fuck, one of these are gonna break, and you're I have to fucking crack a safe to try and make these fucking cables work, the solderless ones. I'd rather just solder cables then at that point. But they work, they sound great.
Yeah.
And then Jim did a little
Yes?
test. They're really small.
They're really freaking small.
They're even lower profile than slivers.
Yeah,
So-
I think they're maybe a millimeter or
Like a fraction of a butt hair.
yeah. Yeah,
But hey,
I didn't
smaller,
check
smaller.
whose butt hair were we checking.
I was
didn't
using
check.
mine.
Oh,
I don't usually.
using someone
I don't
else's.
usually handle other men's butt hairs. So yeah,
Maybe I gotta get different samples and bring them. Do it.
I do have some wiry butt hair.
There you go. But
nice.
no, so they're cool. Yeah, pretty stoked on those. So thanks, 3 Monkeys, right?
Yeah, 3 Monkeys.
So
Definitely check them out.
definitely, it was cool that they sent them out to us and give them a shot. So far, easy.
Probably
Easy
go
cables.
on my board.
Yeah. Throw it on the MXR board.
Yeah.
MXR, 3 monkeys, nothing wrong with that. So, Jim, what is new in your world? Maybe, we can go into a little bit of detail, but what's recently, what's shaking, what's grooving? Anything cool in your world?
Just a lot of the same. Work, family, getting ready to go back to school again, which is not always fun. Got another semester coming up. But I've been looking for an old Ibanez OD9, one of the original ones, and I did just score it. And
nice,
not for $9,000, so that was a bonus.
Just shy of that,
significantly less. So you're fractions.
You're doing the Kyle style and collecting these 9 pedals. From
I have
Ibanez?
almost all the Ibanez 9 series.
How many do they have?
I've got 12 right now, and I got 3 to go.
Oh shit! Nice. There you go.
So no, got 13, and 3 to go. So 16 total. I think there's a couple that they've come out with. Like, as they do reissues.
Yeah.
But I'm not really interested. I just want the old 80s ones.
Classic ones. Yeah.
So, I got to get the old TS9, which is not super cheap, but, I mean, it's in the market of a boutique pedal, And then
it's
there's
like 2 or 3, what do you say, or more?
Yeah, 2 to 3. Right now, they're around 3, but I've seen them as low as 2, so just going to wait for the wave to kind of.
Do you look for like pristine ones, or you look for like?
Actually, no. I kind of want ones that look like the label and the stomp switch are all a little dented and a little beat up.
Look like you've had it and you've used it. Yeah.
So you can get pristine ones, and they're expensive, and it's just not my thing.
You can put those on a board. Fully. Yeah.
Eventually, once I do, I'm gonna have a board and just have it all wired up and have it so it's in like rainbow color that like goes in a circle and just continues. The color wheel just keeps going around and around. But so I got that. I was pretty stoked. I got one of the cherry boxes from Sean, actually.
Nice.
So, and that's rad.
Shout out.
That is a cool
lollygagger right there.
And the guy was awesome. Mine came in. It had a little thing in the sound. I was like, hey, Sean, is this what it's supposed to sound like? And he was super cool. And basically, like, through like video and everything else, we were able to like kind of troubleshoot it. And then he just sent me one out and had me send the other one back. He's like, I don't want you to have something that you have to fix. Like, just overnighted one to me. So it was super cool.
Great customer service.
Yeah. Awesome. Tops. I mean, this all happened within like a couple hours.
Nice.
Of me telling him. So very cool. And it's awesome. It's super cool fuzz. And the, I think it's like a phaser side of it almost. Like, if you're like doing palm muting, you can get this kind of weird phaser swoosh.
Yeah, that's right.
And then otherwise, it can get gnarly and nasty and make the most crazy noises. It's fun. It's a fun pedal.
Fun little box.
Yeah,
nice. That's really cool.
Super stoked to have that one. And then I actually, on the 48-month plan with Sweetwater, I picked up a TVL Jazzmaster. Which should be here sometime this week, theoretically. So. Nice. Super stoked. I've been wanting one of those forever. The Troy Van Leeuwen Oxblood, they're super cool. So
those are pretty badass.
Yeah.
Fuck. I like that one a lot. I like how he switched it to where it's just like they kind of took like some notice off of that to make it to the new American Professional Jazzmasters. It's like where it's like a Les Paul thing, cut pretty much the jazz circuit out of it, the thing that nobody uses.
No, his has that still.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I take that
instead
back.
of having the slider that goes back and forth, it's a toggle because he uses it.
Yeah.
And so that way he can just hit it with his thumb real easy.
I guess I misspoke. I thought it was like just the Les Paul circuit. Like
you still have the pickup selectors on the lower horn, and then you have just a two-way toggle up top that kicks it in and out.
Oh, okay.
And so, because I like the rhythm circuit, I think it's fun. Like if you use it, if you try to incorporate it, it's really easy to do.
I can never get a good sound out of it.
I mean, you have to like the neck pickup, but if you want to have something where you can play something really simply and then be able to kick it into a higher volume, more trebly sound for a lead work or something, then you could just use that rhythm circuit as your standard and then kick it off and you're in the other. Or if you turn the volume all the way down, you can use it as a kill switch.
Yeah.
Or as a stutter switch.
I always would do that, and I would like accidentally have like the volume set down low for those or something like that. And so I would hit it and it would like, cut out. I was like, fuck. And then I have to like make my thumb and like, make sure to hit that right back. And I was like, so I started just like putting gaff tape over it.
With it being that big chrome switch,
that's really cool.
You notice it more and you don't hit it, kind of like a Les Paul.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about it. Plus,
that's a hell of a buy.
Heck yeah. It's like $27 a month.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, and I sat on it, and it was like a week later, I was still like, oh, and then I couldn't any longer, and I had to go for it.
I know Sweetwater did that 48-month financing. I was like, oh fuck, I like my Sweetwater cards all paid off, and I was like, oh, so is my Guitar Center card. I'm like, fuck, maybe I should buy something. Oh, maybe I should buy studio monitors or something or whatever. The sale's already passed. They'll probably have another one.
The 48-month, the current one goes till the 23rd.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Well, maybe
you probably need to do that.
Maybe I need to take a look.
Probably need to do that tonight.
Took a look. See.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I wish they were. I wish they sold Fractal. If they sold Fractal, I'd probably buy a Fractal. And then I'm like, oh, I think they sell Kemper and Helix. I was like, oh shit, maybe I should get. I don't need anything. I don't need anything really.
Right.
But I'm like, fuck. There's sometimes there's sweet deals on there. I'm like, man. But no, that's really cool. That's a hell of a pickup.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, I mean,
no regrets, dude.
No regrets. Not on my watch.
No regrets. But I
have a lot of those.
Yeah, I didn't follow that rule. No, I'm gonna bug you a little bit more about your collection because you got an extensive one. But
it's not that extensive.
Well, don't be bashful.
I like guitars. I like amps. I like pedals.
We got some cool shit.
Brian, what's new with you? What do you got?
We did have something new. It's kind of a collective, but I'm gonna take reign on this.
Okay,
from
fine.
Like My Pedals. We have a Joseph. He sent us an AB box. So what this is Kyle and I, we wanted to start incorporating either demos into the podcast or doing some videos. And so what it is it's 2 inputs to 1 output. And so that way Kyle and I can both plug in our guitars. So he'll plug in his Tele, I'll plug in my Les Paul or whatever. And then output to the amp, or output to the pedal to the amp, yada yada, and then we'll be able to switch. It's a passive deal, and we could either switch it to the Kyle side, which is Kyle's guitar, and then mute it. It's a 3-way toggle switch, and then switch it to the Brian side. So that way Kyle and I can both play through a pedal and give our own take on it and stuff like that. What I think is really cool is well, one, for the fact that Joseph did it. Yeah. And we kind of sent him the idea. I'm like, this is kind of a stupid idea, so bear with me until I finish. And he's like, no, man, that's kind of cool. So I'm glad he liked it. And we kind of basically just dude, I want to have the Tone Jerks font, and then I was just gonna do our stupid caricature heads that we have on the main podcast feed. He's like, no, dude, I was thinking the same thing. So I'm like, oh, I'm glad he's on the same wavelength.
He's a rad dude, man.
Either that,
cool.
or he's just lying to me, saying oh, this is a good idea, Brian, good one. Either way,
keep them coming, dude.
Yeah.
Dear God, lose my number now.
Where's the block function on Facebook? No, it came out really bitchin' too. I'm like, it's sparkly, and it's he did it looks really good. They sent him all the PNGs and art files for it, and it looks really great. But what I think is kind of cool, the whole reason why we wanted to do that is because Kyle and I both approach pedals in a completely different way. So if we started demoing pedals, the whole thing is I look at a pedal and I kind of want to know what it does before I even plug it in. And then I kind of dial it in to the type of amp and guitar that I'm playing. And so I look at it and look at all the
very
controls.
methodical, right?
Whereas Kyle's all cool, what is that? The input and plug in the output and powered it on? Okay, I'm going to go. I'm
an idiot, everybody.
No, he kind of just goes, and it's he feels it out, and he'll learn the pedal as he goes. Whereas I want to read up on it and maybe think about what the controls are. So, and I play, I'm like, okay, I'll have stock riffs that I want to get out of this or whatever. What causes
I'm like, oh, does that sound good? No, then don't do that.
Am I getting
for me?
sound?
I'm like, oh, turn that knob back.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So I think we might incorporate that into the podcast. We'll see what you guys think. If you guys don't like it, probably still going to do it anyways. But
you're a jerk.
Let us know. But yeah,
no. So I'm really stoked on that. We might start doing some videos on Instagram and stuff like that with it. So I'm really stoked that Joseph wanted to be a part of it and help us out. So shout out to Like My Pedals again. We don't squawk enough about them. Well, I think maybe we do, but I mean, we're going to do it again.
But you can always squawk more.
Yeah. No, Joseph is one of the coolest dudes. He makes some really great pedals, and I think everybody knows him, but more people should. That's kind of it for the what's new. Jim, since you're here, I wanted to,
Well, Jim's here.
Oh, hey guys.
I wanted to, grill you a little bit. I want to get, some people know you. They know you from Tone Mob, 60 Cycle, and your Rambling Six Strings, all that kind of jazz. But, in case people don't know who you are and, how cool of a dude you are, let's get into a little background about
How could
Jim.
they not know?
Those fucking idiots, right? fucking get a clue, you dipshit.
Well, how much time you got?
But yeah, so I wanted to get a little bit of your background, kind of what you do, and then let's hit a couple topics. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, Jim, music. How is it? Really, or when did you get into music, and when did it become a part of your life?
I started listening to music and paying attention to it, and it becoming a part of my obsession every day. I was probably 8. Mm-hmm. Grew up in a super strict Christian home, so it was all Christian music.
Yeah.
But I remember every week, it was my brother and I, if we were good, if we didn't burn the house down, we would beat each other up. If we didn't if we did everything we were supposed to, kept our room clean, everything. My mom would take us to the Christian bookstore where they had hundreds of cassette tapes and all these little spots we could listen to.
Yeah.
And we weren't supposed to listen to the rock and roll stuff, but we were always getting whatever punk or metal or any kind of rock bands that were out. We'd take them and we'd go demo them and we'd be like, oh, this is so good. Oh, this is so good. And then we'd, and then we'd go find something that was a little more vanilla. And we'd get to take that home and we'd listen to it and learn every song, everything. And eventually my mom caught on to us.
What were some of the bands
that we used to listen to?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
MXPX, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Super
No,
solid.
they were.
Yeah.
My parents were they're not Christian enough. So we weren't able to buy them back then because, my mom was the one paying for them.
Yeah.
So, but definitely them. There was Striper. A little bit of Striper was left over. We listened to, oh man, I don't know. I can't think of any of those, the other bands that we'd kind of sneak in. Mm-hmm. But some of the stuff that we'd take home and listen to is, there's a band called the Newsboys.
Okay.
And a band called, DC Talk. And they were kind of rock and roll, kind of rap-ish. They were cool. They weren't complete nerd church music.
Yeah.
But we listened to that, and then right around the time that the Supertones came out, it was them and a band called Five Iron Frenzy. Ska bands.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh god, this is awesome. My parents were they read the lyrics oh, this is super Christian music. You guys can have this. We're like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
and it was off to the races at that point. We'd get my dad to drop us off at Supertones concerts.
And,
stuff like that. So I was probably 13 or 14 by that point. And I started playing guitar right around the same age.
Yeah, so that kind of got you into guitar.
Well, I saw there was this girl that I knew, and she wanted to learn how to play guitar. And so I was like, if I can learn how to play guitar faster, then I can give her lessons.
Yeah, you
and
just got to say one lesson ahead. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So my dad played guitar a little bit, acoustic. So I basically was show me how to play guitar, and he showed me how to wrote out how to do the chords. Mm-hmm. And so I picked it up pretty quick. They bought me a little nylon string, but it was a quarter size, and I was 13.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out too good. I mowed a bunch of lawns and saved up and bought an SG and bought an old Washburn bass.
Nice.
And my brother and I we kind of split that, and we split 2 amps. And we did that for a little bit. He ended up buying a drum set, and then we were just in bands.
Bingo. You're gone. Yeah.
But it was cool because we played together. We'd wake up in the morning. We talked to our parents into homeschooling us for high school, junior high and high school. And so we'd wake up in the morning at 4 and we'd be done with schoolwork by 7 or 8. And then my mom would be like, I don't want to listen to that crap at 8 a.m. So it was oh, okay, well, what chores do we have around the house that we can do to make money, to buy more gear and buy more stuff?
Yeah.
So we'd do chores until 12. And then it was okay, now we're going to go play.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
we'd play until dad got home, 6 o'clock. So that was every day, every single day.
Nice.
It was wake up, finish schoolwork, make money, play guitar.
Music,
and that was it. We had a little bit of social life, but not, that was just all we wanted to do. Eventually by high school, we were in a little punk band, a little garage band, and we'd play church basements, stuff like that, little punk band. And then I was 18 and it was a hardcore band, a local band that was all older guys that I'd known growing up. And they were like, hey, we really need another guitar player. And at the time I was playing almost all bass. And so they were like, you got to come and, what you play on bass, you can easily play what we play on guitar. It's not hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but I don't have a guitar. So they hooked me up with a guitar and an amp. The other guitar player had spares. So I just started playing that and just went and we played from like San Diego to Santa Cruz out through Arizona.
Nice. So that was kind of like a gigging band, and then,
Yeah, we'd probably gig once a week.
Yeah, nice.
So
Cool.
practice a couple times a week.
Hell yeah! You say you started bouncing around with that band, or like
Yeah.
different bands since then?
So I was in that band until 9/11. I went to the Marine Corps, and then that's when I left the band. They broke up. Shortly after that, the drummer he went to the LAPD, and
Yeah,
so that was
so
the
it's
end
kind
of
of
that.
time for
Yeah.
the band anyway.
Yeah, I mean that was a long time. They were together 7 years probably,
Yeah,
and we never made it signed. We did get a song played on MTV2, like one of their like after midnight
hell yeah.
things. So it was like 2 a.m., but like we were on
Yeah,
MTV2.
still,
I
it's
was on
good.
MTV,
But-
right? I'm somebody.
Yeah. Why am I here? Yeah, chalk that
Yeah,
on the
so, you know.
on the resume.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then when I was in there, I played acoustic a little bit here and there
To keep it going, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit, just kind of something to kill the time.
Yeah.
I was there 8 years, came out, and it was like, oh, I've always wanted to have a Les Paul. I want a good Gibson Les Paul, and I saved up all this money.
What'd you get?
I got a Gibson Les Paul.
What kind? What kind of
Standard. It was a Honeyburst.
Oh fuck! A
So-
Les Paul standard.
Yeah, it was
Honeyburst.
2001, which was like
Oh.
one of their good years.
Yeah,
because they go in waves.
Nothing wrong with that. That's
And
like,
no, it was good. The price was right. I got it used.
what amp did you have?
I had a Marshall Mode 4 half stack.
Nice. That was big.
So-
Fucking was it 400 watts or something like that? 300
Yeah,
watts.
it was 400 watts.
You're gonna be like, I want the biggest.
Yeah, and so if I turned it up to 1, the neighbors would call the cops, which was a problem because I lived in a condo, and so I couldn't play. So I sold
But it's
that.
still like to have that power.
Yeah. So, but I sold that, and I picked up a little Vox VT40, which is
Yeah.
for sale, by the way. If anyone wants one, you know. Good
me
deals.
up.
Good deals.
Reverb.com/Jimmy B.
Probably should make that a thing. But yeah, so that fit the bill for a long time. Condo was just Les Paul and a little Vox, and I'd kind of futz around and just I'm gonna play a little bit, and didn't really. When I was in my band, I never played anybody else's songs. Growing up, I learned obviously on Smoke on the Water, the intro to Stairway to Heaven, the normal
Gotcha,
stuff,
yeah.
but you don't want to play that in your room when you're almost 30 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not the thing to play. So I'd sit down and figure out how to play Back in Black or LaGrange or any of those, and try to figure out note for note the solos, which never works out. So I'd go on YouTube, and that's kind of just sort of put it back together from there. Kind of did the P-dub thing for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
so you started playing with church, and stuff.
That was I didn't ever own a pedal. I was so anti-pedals. I was like guitar, amp. That is it.
Yeah.
Only a cable in between them. And then I was on a
Not a
forum.
bad way to be. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
It's more affordable.
definitely.
But I was getting into Gretsch guitars, and mostly because the Black Keys. He played hollow or semi-hollow body and
Yeah,
hollow
and
body
the bigger
guitars, and Jack
guitars.
Black or Jack White was a little bit, and a few other people that were just in popular culture. Not that I necessarily loved their music, but the sound was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's like that more. For lack of a better phrase, it's more airy, open.
Exactly.
It gives it more depth than I'd say straight Les Paul could. I want to
Right.
say, yeah,
Right. And for some reason, I never put the two together that Tim Armstrong from Rancid also played a Gretsch.
yeah,
So they played these hollow, semi-hollow body guitars, but Tim Armstrong played a Gretsch, and I was getting way more into Rancid and into Social D than I really ever had. And I always liked them, but I'd never been loved them, and I really loved them. And so I was dude,
social D, you got to transfer to a Fender.
I know.
So is that the next progression?
So basically basically I picked up a Gretsch. I was on the Gretsch forum, and that's where I met Tavo from the Nocturne Brain.
Nocturne Brain,
and
shout
he
out.
convinced me that a Brain preamp was not a pedal. It was just a preamp inside a box with a foot switch.
Those
And so I was like, okay, let me. And,
Wait a minute.
and basically, I was like, okay, fine. It's
You're
not
like, excuse me?
It's not an effects pedal in that it totally changes it. It just it makes your signal better.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I bought that. It was my
it
first
just
pedal.
I think it's the guitar nerds. It's the more betterer pedal, the more gooder pedal. Like that's what those brains like pedals. That's what they are. Like especially the first. What was the green one called again?
The
Dino brain.
That was my first pedal of all time. The one that you had.
That's an always on. Just make your signal sound better. What does it sound? How does it make it sound better? I don't know. It just does. Turn that switch and it sounds better.
There's a bunch of preamps out there, but for me, I've tried a bunch of them, a bunch of boosts, a bunch of preamps, a bunch of all those things, and that one does something special to where I don't want to play if I don't have one on.
Yeah.
And that sounds weird, but I love it. And I just anything else, I'll swap it out, whatever. But like, I just want to have a brain because I know that no matter what I'm doing, like I know how to play. I know what my playing is doing, but it's going to make everything sound more full. It does something to the harmonics that nothing else is going to do like that.
I'm sure there's shit in there that I'm like, he's doing that we don't know what the hell it is, but I'm like, it's basically a magic in a box.
Right. And so when I got that, because I got a Gretsch around the same time, and I picked one up. And I loved it. It was awesome. I got I got two. I only have one left. I got a 5125, which is one of their original Electromatic line. When it first came out, it's all black and it has single coils. So it's a little bit different, which I loved. I loved it. And I think that's why that was like my first single coil guitar. I'd never really had one. I'd always had humbuckers because I always had Gibsons. And then, or Epiphones actually. The Les Paul was the first Gibson. Don't judge. I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, so I loved that. I got the Tennessee Rose, and there was something about the neck. Like it didn't matter if it was plugged in or not. Like it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever played. Like it's a 25.5 inch like Fender scale.
Yeah.
And so it took me a minute to put it together, but that scale, like I didn't have to look at the neck anymore. Like it just everything fit into place perfectly.
Like it snapped better. Yeah.
Right. Like I could play a Gibson scaling just like anybody can, but like that longer scale to me is like that's everything.
Yeah, the tension on the strings I think is a definitely,
and it's just the way the fret spacing is. Like I just without looking, I know where I'm going at up and down the neck.
Yeah.
So I played that. I played that through the brain, and I was like, dude, this is it. So P-dubbing, it was like eventually I got into Telecasters too.
Yeah.
And it was like Tellys or Gretches, and like nothing. I didn't care about anything else. I found my zone, and it was like Tellys.
As long as you get those with the the Nocturne, you're kind of good to go.
Yeah. So, and then I mean, when you P-dub, obviously you can't have just a preamp. You got to have like a delay and a reverb and a couple things. So that was a slippery slope, and I lost the battle.
So now you're like you're full bore into pedals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play at church anymore. It's been a couple years now.
But you still collect.
But I still, I mean, because if I get called if I get called back to serve, I'm
ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm going to deliver.
Send me back in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
Look at me. I got 6 delays. I'm ready.
So
Jimmy, we're pulling you out of retirement.
What's your rig looking like now then?
So I typically have a couple of tellies
because
that I
you
play
recently
a lot.
like got your board. You got a legit board. You had like some shit show happen with that with some
Yeah, so I always had a board that I screwed everything down on because I liked reliability and durability.
Yeah, because you're
so I was like, I don't want Velcro. I want this thing screwed into the board.
You're stomping those things.
Mm-hmm. And that was a pain in the neck because changing something out, you got to get a drill gun.
Yeah, you got to.
You know? And like the other thing is like those little feet, the bicycle links that you screw you don't leave them on there because you got to put them back in the box. So you got to take all those off, but screw it all back, screw that pedal back together, put them onto the other pedal, screw it back down. So it's kind of a pain, but
they ain't going anywhere. Yeah.
No, they're not going anywhere at that point. But and I got rid of that. I still have it somewhere, but I got a salvage board, and it was Velcro.
Okay. Yeah, very cool.
And it was very cool. And it had that case, and it all fit together, and everything was covered up. Everything was good, and had kind of a bad issue with salvage personally.
Okay.
So, and not to get into that, it is what it is. But it just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with that board. So I was like, you know what? There's this other guy. I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm going to order a board from him. And he's like, yeah, it'll take me 6 weeks. Cool. So I sell the salvage board, buy that one, or fund the make, and he ended up taking like a year to make it. So I had no pedal board for a year.
Jeez.
And then at that point, I still got it back. It was still screwed up.
It still looked like shit.
Yeah. Like all the corners were bad. The Tolex was half glued down. It was just not at all what it was supposed to be.
Because you wanted something to be like personal and make it look a good looking board, whatever. To me, a board is just
utilitarian.
Like I want, like Kyle and I are both pedal train guys, and people are like, pedal trains are stupid, they're ugly, I'm like,
you know
yeah,
what?
but I'm like, I'm
I
just gonna
see
go
now the
to
wisdom in
gym,
going
they
that
are.
way.
like,
You know,
I'm just gonna go buy that shit, and like I know I'm getting like a piece of aluminum thing that I could take that back. Kyle or my dad could probably make. I couldn't make it. I could commission that to my dad or Kyle, and they would make it and be like, "It's so cheap and easy to make." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it."
yeah. No.
But no, I mean, the
long
thing is,
story
like,
short,
if
John,
you wanted something and you paid for it, yeah. Anyway, so like the
but John at Creation, he hooked me up.
creation, yeah,
he,
those
he
are
saw,
fucking
he's like, dude, I
bitchin'.
know you're having issues. Like, what do you want in a board? And I was like, this is what I want in a board. And it's going to cost X amount, but just because of your troubles, I'll give it to you for cost. Like, you know, he knew,
Oh,
like,
cool,
dude,
cool, yeah.
you're a cool guy. You're in the groups. Like, you're
In the industry,
you know,
yeah, like, you're
sucks
cool.
that you're going through it. So he gave it to me for a great deal,
Shout out, yeah,
you
very
know,
cool.
and then and I've met him at NAMM. Like, I knew him like through other stuff. And so
I haven't met him yet, but I've
he actually got
just
me
heard-
into my
heard-
first NAMM.
yeah heard him on a bunch of different
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff like that, and heard his story.
Yeah,
And, like, the
he
guy's
got
like
me. He got me in. Like, he gave me my badge. Pretty cool dude.
The guy's killing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he hooked me up really good. Got it perfect. Everything's on there. So
So you got your dream board now from Creation. So what's on there? What's you rocking?
the chain. It rotates a little bit, you know, because I'm like, ooh, what about this? What about that? Wait, I could put this fuzz.
So you got your board, and you're like, shit, I don't know what to put on here. I'm like a kid. And
I should have got 3 of these.
I should have got this board like a fucking longboard, surfboard deal.
Exactly. No. So I have the mystery brain from Nocturne. Or first I have a tuner, and then that goes into the mystery
Yeah.
brain, which is
Hell
basically
of a pedal.
So you run it
it's the
first.
atomic brain with a delay on it.
That's the way Tavo says, right? Run it
Well,
first.
the one that he has now, I have is the V1. When parts of it were still like hand wired and everything. And right now he's got a pretty awesome like PCB setup on there, which I'm always tempted to buy one of the new ones, but I mean,
I don't need.
they're
you don't
not
need-
super cheap, and I'm not made of money. I have kids.
I'm gonna borrow my buddy's. He just bought one. He just got it in the
Yeah.
mail. You got
Yeah.
the orange or like the
Copper mist.
Yeah,
Copper,
copper.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
they're
think looks badass.
they're super fun.
gonna steal it from 'em.
But it has an effects loop, so that you can put
Yeah.
whatever you want
Oh,
in
shit.
front of the delay.
Dang.
Okay, yeah,
So, and that to me is like, that's why I'm considering why
Yeah,
I would pick one up.
those
But,
are badass.
Dang.
But the effects loop is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Mine doesn't, so I just have basically it goes into into the amp, the preamp, the brain that goes into the boost section, goes into the delay, and then from there I go into
Yeah.
the Fez drive. I have one of his old Fez drives from Nocturne.
Yeah.
And it has the regular switch and then what's called a furry switch. And the two, they get pretty heavy. I mean, if that's the only OD I had, it'd be plenty.
Yeah.
From there, I'm going into a solid gold effects, if 6 was 9 fuzz. So
Okay.
it's like a fuzz face.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a germanium one. So it's it's basically like a 69 fuzz face, like a Hendrix style.
yeah, we just had their 76 fuzz. He does some good shit. Yeah, cool shit.
Oh, it's awesome. And then from there, I kind of have like an open place on my board where I'm just rotating
Swapping
things.
it,
So
yeah.
right now it's got the cherry box in it. And then,
Shout out.
Yep, cherry box. Hello, Sean.
Another shout out.
Heyo.
Not to shout everybody out here, but you know,
Yeah, Sean, he's a cool guy.
Just dropping names and we're
buying
picking 'em
gear
up.
from people that are in the group.
Exactly. I'm
You
like,
know,
that's like
I-
the worst thing. I'm like, man, I'm meeting all these cool people. I'm like, fuck, I'm guessing I have to buy more shit now.
Like, if like Solid Gold Effects, Alex is in the Tone Mob group.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty active over there. So that's how I've kind of gotten to know the brand a little bit. And they're
Well, I'm glad he's
awesome.
not in the Tone Jerks group because I'm like, I would probably buy more of his shit.
Hey, I'm going to tell him to come over here then.
Oh, shit.
Like, dude, you're missing out on an opportunity. You could have Brian Gower on your list. Yeah, so from there, I go into just different modulation. From there I go into the green muffer fuzz from Tomcat Effects,
Okay, shit.
which
Yeah,
is pretty
yeah,
cool.
those-
It's
yeah.
like his violet muffer, but the green muffer has different components.
Mm-hmm.
Make it more like Russian muff.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I've got the different stuff that I have going right now is like the Julia,
A favorite, yeah.
I have the Nightwire on there.
What's the Nightwire?
It's not Electro,
Earthquaker.
Earthquaker device.
what-
It's a harmonic tremolo.
Oh, okay.
So what that means is that basically it splits your signal into high and low, and then when it goes into tremolo, it it alternates.
Yeah.
So the tremolo goes down when the bass goes high, and so it still gives you this sense of tremolo, but with almost like a little bit of like phasery vibrato-ness.
Because the hummingbird, I know from them, is more of like a pattern, like a
Right.
It sounds like exactly the hummingbird flapping.
That sounds like a hummingbird to me.
And then,
that was really good.
And it's like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That'd be cool for like bass, for like a pattern and stuff like that. Because you don't want to do like super
But it's like
harmonic-y,
square
but
wave,
like,
I think.
yeah, okay, the Nightwire.
So with the Nightwire, the other benefit to it is it has like so many different ways that you can shape the attack and different things like that. But you can set it up to where it's dynamic. So if you hit the strings hard, it'll either like. So if you hit it hard, it starts off like whatever your tempo is, but then it like fades off and it slows down as you goes like.
I like it.
Dang.
So it's pretty cool.
Fucking
Like,
that's bitching.
So I have that one on there. And that one I swap in and out with the tremolo from Nocturne.
Oh, yeah.
It's a super, like if you want a good, true Fender amp style tremolo, a lot of people have similar stuff. The one I like about his is that the wave just feels more bubbly.
Yeah.
Rather than, it just has a little more roundness to it.
I
But
think
it also,
a lot of his stuff is like wants to be authentic and wants to be like retro. It's like
he uses like retro components. The guy's been doing this. He's had his company for 10 years, but he's been doing it for another 15 years before that. Modding stuff like him and Analog Mike from Analog Man. Like that's his mentor. Like that's one of the guys that like really helped him and shaped him growing when he was starting.
I love the shit out of that. That's cool. But
anyway, a couple other things. Oh, I have I'm using the ARP 87. It's a great delay with tap. Like if I need tap, I love it. It actually kicked the El Capistan off my board. Like I really like it in comparison. And then the from Earthquaker, the Disaster Transport Senior.
nice. Okay, yeah.
And I have two expression pedals with that, and so that is just a sound machine. It's so beautiful.
Killing it, bro.
It's beautiful.
It's a hell of a board. Nice.
So, and then Reverb kind of rotates between the Meteor and Solid Gold Effects Surfrider, and Jason Fuzzmonger actually just sent me the Blood Moon to mess with.
Yeah, that'd be.
'Cause I was talking about like a noise reverb, like something
Like
that gets a little
washy,
wacky,
really crazy,
and it can get really mellow and nice and great reverb out of it, or you can just get weird.
You're just like
super weird.
I'm fucking drowning in it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, send that to me, and then I might send it back to Jason.
Yeah.
I'll have to check with Jason.
Don't worry about it.
Jason would be like, I heard about that fucking Kyle. No, don't.
Don't let him touch it with those
He
dirty
doesn't know what the
hands.
fuck he's doing. He calls me out on shit all the time.
He's gonna trade
What
it for
the fuck are you thinking? 7 strings are legit.
Yeah. More and more, like every time we talk about like metal and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, every time we say something,
We're so ignorant.
You're so gonna get your.
I'm like, oh, I just
reamed.
call us out.
You know,
Jason, he definitely is
he
going to.
did, and he did.
Dude, that guy honestly knows a ton. He's got and he has an incredible ear. Like, I'll send him things because I'm like, I want to know, like, is this really as good as I think I hear? And he'll play it and he's like, so what I hear happening in the upper higher mids, there's this little, and I'm like, holy crap.
But like, especially with like metal and a lot of stuff like that, it's like all about frequencies. If you're not sitting right in, because like stuff that you would think like would sit in a mix, like as soon as you get it like from your bedroom into the band, I'm like, oh, guess what? That doesn't work.
He's just a really nice guy.
And gain stages in a metal mix too. I'm like, okay, you have, let's say if you have like 3 guitars or 2 guitars or 1, you have to know how to fill your frequencies. So that's what I think is really cool. Anyway, before we close this out, what's the amp you're running?
So right now I have it set up so I'm running either right now. I got to go stereo here with it. I have a Benson Vinny.
Oh shit!
And it goes into either it's my 2x12. It goes into the 2x12.
Yeah.
I could use the 1x10 that comes with it, but just for volume's sake, I go through the 2x12. And then besides that, I use the Nocturne Betty Blonde Shell, which is basically like a basement style.
Yeah, he fucking is killing it with those Fender.
Dude, that amp.
Those F style amps.
I was on this like amp journey, just trying everything, buying stuff, hoarding amps, like trying to get this sound. And then I bought that from him. and I haven't bought another amp.
You're like, oh shit. Well,
I don't really think I will.
Just gonna tap out here because I'm done.
And then I won that Vinny in the raffle thing, and so it was like, well, here's the Vinny, here's that, and these are like between the two, like I
put
have
them together and boom,
anything
done.
I would ever. Oh yeah, I've run the Vinny into the blonde shell.
Hell yeah,
and it's the most insane, glorious,
fucking killing it.
Eargasm ever. Just
tell us about that.
Okay, so when it wait, do you want the whole story or just the ending?
Go on.
But yeah, fucking so we know that you got some kick-ass gear. You've had a good musical journey and stuff like that, and you're very active in the in the I want to say forums. They're groups. They're Facebook groups. You're
I try to be a nice guy.
Yeah, so that is kind of catching us up on who Jimmy B is. We know him, and we know he likes to party, and we know he likes good tone. But I think
I like a good tone.
I like a good tone every once in a while. But I think we're gonna jump into some topics. Let's get into those. What do you say?
Yeah.
So okay,
hit it.
So I wanted to talk about brand loyalty.
Don't even get me started, Brian.
Or we're gonna get you started, get you revved up.
I'll tell you what grinds my. Oh, that's your job.
Grinding my gears.
The Kyle file.
The Jim files. The Jimbo files. So brand loyalty. So why, you will buy like from a certain brand over the others, and maybe why you would stray away or stay away from like a certain brands. So like what are some of those factors? Not necessarily like naming brands, but like you can name them as you go along. So, how about Jim? You first, because I know. I mean, we know you're a big Nocturne brain. What What brings you to that company so much?
Okay, so
what attracts you to the Nocturne Brain brand?
What I love about Tavo is that when I was going through getting the first pedal and everything, a lot of it's via email. It was back in the day a ways.
AOL, like that kind?
No, not that far. I was still in the Stone Ages, known as the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still played acoustic guitar back then. So, no, I don't know. I emailed him and we just kind of hit it off.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, I'd email him like, hey, how does this band get this sound on this song? And he'd tell me, just how do I want to get this pedal, but I want it to have this because I want to play it for P-Dub.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to be able to play this with my Jazz Master. I want, all these things. And it was something where he was just like, awesome. That sounds like a really cool idea. I'll do it. Mm-hmm. And so my Atomic Brain isn't an exact Atomic Brain. He adjusted some parameters in there so that it would sound good with both my P90s and Filtertrons.
Oh, bitchin', yeah.
Through the amps that I was playing, the old Gibson amps that I used to play.
Yeah.
And so basically, someone like that, somebody who takes an actual caring in me and my family, who, if he doesn't see me post for a little bit, he'll text me, hey, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you post in a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody like that definitely gains my brand loyalty. I mean, he's got a very high quality product in my opinion. And so I will stick with him because of that. I bought my amp based on that, having never played one.
So it's kind of more the personal connection with.
It's a personal connection. If I have a personal connection, that's probably the strongest, most definite way.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thanks for zoning it in. Outside of that, if there's somebody who I've seen, like somebody like Sean Wright, I bought the Cherry Box because I've seen how he's worked with other people.
Yeah.
I've seen the attention
definitely.
to detail. I've listened to him on other podcasts. I know the guy knows what he's doing. This isn't a guy who just decided to wake up and, work on a hobby. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was, but with him, like I had a sense of this guy is the real deal. I want to buy from him. So I did. And then lo and behold, I happened to have a customer service thing that I was able to work with him through. And I mean, that was magnificent. I mean, it was the fastest service I'd ever had.
And it's like, you don't want to get to that point, but if you ever get there, you want to know that he's going to pull out of it.
Right. And in the groups, he had that reputation already. It made me feel like, you know what? I need to be supporting Lollygagger. Same thing with Leon from Pelican Noiseworks.
Yeah.
I've got everything that he's made. And the main reason for that is because I've seen what he does. He makes great stuff. He's a great guy. He's a great part of the industry. Mm-hmm. And he supports the player as much as we support him by buying it.
Exactly.
Then like Solid Gold Effects, very similar. They're a larger brand. They're probably one of the larger brands that I regularly want to buy from.
Yeah.
But they consistently have the lowest noise floor of any pedal that I've really played. I only have experience with the ones that I have, but I love them consistently. And then again, Alex, he's in the groups, great guy.
Yeah.
You know, super nice. He knew that I wanted one of those black Surf Riders. And so he's like, I'm going to put one on hold. You know, if you want it, if you have the money, whatever, you know, we'll do it.
It's pretty cool.
Outside of that, though, I guess the brands that you know, the big ones like the EQD, Electro Harmonics. But the brands that I would stay away from, a lot of them are the guys that kind of spam the groups. You know, they don't contribute, they're not a part of it, and they just keep showing pedals.
They just want to like shill their bullshit.
It's more intrusive, you know, and the guys that I mentioned, I don't feel like they do that in any way. They do post stuff, ads like, hey, I'm selling this, hey, I'm doing that, and they'll post stuff, but they don't ever.
Yeah, but they're like regular pop-ups. They'll put their opinion on something, you know.
And they'll post ads, so like, hey, I just saw this, you know, this is a good deal for somebody.
Well, Sean's like super helpful actually with a lot of the stuff he'll joke about, but if you keep reading through it, like, you're like, oh dang, I've never actually thought about that, what you just said.
He has a great viewpoint on life.
He does.
And all these guys, the ones that I was saying, I mean, I don't have the same viewpoint as all of them, as Tavo, Leon, Sean, Alex. I mean, not that I know everything that they agree with, but we may not agree on everything, but they are intelligent enough to give a full viewpoint on something. If that makes sense.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, but at the end of the day, I like stuff that looks cool. I like stuff that sounds good, you know, and I feel like these guys, if it looks bitchin', it belongs on my board.
I got to get another board. This bitchin' shit I'm about.
I'm going to call up John and get another board. Like, John, I need another board exactly like the first board, but another board.
I need it bigger. I need a bigger board.
Tone just need a hookup, dude.
And by hookup, I mean full price.
Full price, double.
Oh, fuck.
But I don't know. There's some, to be honest with you, some of the P-Dub brands, like the brands that cater solely to P-Dub. Like, not to name names, but as an example, I know Jackson is pretty similar. Like, they kind of just have this one focus that direction, it feels like. And not that turns me off to them, but it makes me disinterested.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to only P-Dub.
Yeah.
I want to rock and roll.
I think when brands like pigeonhole themselves into things, that's when it gets kind of like,
But do you think they pigeonhole themselves, or do you think that it's their like actual like
it might
followers?
Might be the clientele that
might
like pigeonhole.
But then it depends on how hard you cater to that one thing.
It's true.
Like,
if you
for example, like Nocturne, he's big in the rockabilly world, and everybody in rockabilly knows who he is.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. And his whole style, if you meet him, I mean, he is actually rockabilly incarnate in an awesome way. Well, it's fun.
Yeah, and one thing that you kind of even mentioned, it's like his pedals don't have to be pigeonholed into that.
And that's why I was playing him in like the P-Dub world, and he was like, do you think that they'd be useful there? Because I just thought I'm screwed because I only build for what I know. I was like, dude, you keep doing you, pal. You keep doing you. And, like, but just like participate in these other groups, and it's going to catch on.
More people will find out about it, and I think all he's got to do is like throw more anime characters on there, and then more people are gonna. Honestly, it's just like,
hey, let me glue this one on there. This looks perfect.
And he's like, just make me a custom one. That's all I need. But Kyle, do you have anything to add to this? What about like brand loyalty? What does that mean to you, and how does it affect you and your buying?
I think, I mean, I have like two sides to what I buy. Really, I guess like I have my like robotic made like Boss / MXR pedals, but when I look for
because they're gonna fucking work.
Exactly.
Utilitarian, you want the pedals to work,
but like
it's not just about utilitarian though.
But like let's see, you meet like a real person and you're like, damn, that guy is cool and his shit's cool. I want to play that. Like for example, was it Southampton? Like I met the guy at NAMM, like at a shitty bar, and the dude was, like, hey, hit me up if you ever want something, or so I did, and I bought 2 fucking pedals from the guy, without even like playing them. I'm like, you're a cool dude.
Oh my god, one of the coolest fucking pedals.
And I'm glad I did.
Is like the fucking utility knife. Boom,
it's a great pedal.
And the thing is, we would never have fucking known about that chorus, or that fucking. Sorry, the utility knife. It's not just a chorus. It's way more. If like, Kyle didn't talk to, Hamish. Is that his name? Hamish.
Yeah.
You talked to him. I didn't.
Yeah. No, I did. It's Hamish. Yeah, and that was because he was a real person. He that was like my first name, and I was like walking around like, I'm part of the Tone Jerks, and he's like, yeah, tell me about yourself. Well, I don't know anything,
but I can drink a beer and talk to you.
Yeah, that was cool. And we had like a common, a common contact, and we were talking about our buddy up Ground Control, which is another one. Cool guys, just like really cool guys.
It's that personal connection.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying.
So I think you're more likely to buy something for me. I'm more likely to buy something if like the guy's cool and you're like, I can talk to that guy. I can talk to that guy if I ever have a problem with it. It's just really nice. It leads to like, I know this guy's gonna have good customer service. Hit him up. Yeah. I know there's other guys like Lamp Electric.
Yeah,
that dude's so cool.
He's like super personable.
He's funny as fuck.
You buy something, you're buying it from him. He's like, sick. Thanks for buying this pedal. I'm gonna make it right now. He'll hit you up. Like,
I'm ordering parts as we speak,
and like it's cool. So, to me, I'm like some notes that I had down here is like, but the personal connection. I think we're at the point now in 2018 that you're getting to know these brands and these people. I'm like, why would you buy something from like a brand like or something made in China that you're like, okay, well it's cheaper. Okay, I could save like maybe $60-$80. I'm like, okay, if money's really that tight, fucking do it. But I'm like, if you can buy like a tube screamer made from Moore over there, or buy a tube screamer made like a variant made by somebody else that you really
Gojira
care about.
effects. That one's cool.
Yeah, or even like like say
Gojira.
Budra.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's say like the Clarksdale. It's Brian Wampler. Wampler pedals, like we all know Wampler. He's fucking killing it. Killer podcast, killer group, and he's super interactive with people. I'm like, dude, I love the shit out of what he's doing for the community. I'm like, he's got these great videos, he's got these great podcasts, he's in the groups and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I kind of want to support what he's doing. Like, why buy a Klon from somebody else when I can buy a Tumnus that sounds bitchin'? I'll buy a Tumnus from him. And I'm like, it's like the same thing. Like, I was on this like little like fuzz journey to try and find like a fuzz. I'm like, oh, I want to find like a really cool one. I want to find one that's like also super sputtery and crazy and stuff like that.
Did you go Velvet?
No, I actually was going to go with Matthews. Nothing wrong with Matthews, but I never had any personal connection with him. We literally went to his booth and we talked to like, Rick Matthews was never available to talk to us. We're Tone Jerks. Who the fuck's going to talk to us? But I'm like,
I do.
There you go.
Thanks, Jim.
You're here. We got you. Yeah. We got you cornered over here. Yeah. But somebody who talked to me was Co and Leon, because I'm like, what I wanted was a super sputtery kind of fuzzy deal. I'm like, guess what? You can get that out of the half horse. Co showed me. Guess what? I bought a fucking half horse.
Oh, good.
So there you go.
It's a great fuzz.
Because it's like that personal connection. I'm like, it's the owner of the company. It's somebody who's like, Co. I'm like, it's a lack of better phrase, but kind of representing, him with his one day and stuff like that. And a local guy, Co. And like, he's like, oh, like let me show you this. And I'm like, he showed me it. I'm like, oh, dude, I really want that. And so you see it at the one day and you buy it. It's also like this is like a more grandiose thing. It's like the lifestyle behind the brand. Sometimes you're buying that too. It's like, am I going to want to like be the JHS guy? Am I going to want to be the Earthquaker guy? And it's like, I would be both. They're both great companies.
But what you want to be? You want to be the Nocturne guy.
The Nocturne brand guy.
That's what you want to be. You want to be the guy.
You want to be like Jim.
Yeah. And
I'm telling you, man, the water's fine.
Yeah,
come on
in. There's plenty of room. But it's that whole thing. It's like, okay, I think sometimes brands are selling that. It's like,
all right. I was going to ask you because I didn't really touch on guitars or amps, or neither did you. So with guitars, you're looking still more at the personal touch thing.
Yes, I think that's really cool. I have talked about it before, and I'm in the lineup to buy a Kevin Equitz guitar. So
Nice.
I'm in the queue. So whenever that happens, it'll happen.
Yeah, that's a real like human being that you can talk to.
Yeah, and he's like,
And he's a
the guy
really nice
asked-
human being too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
No,
Yeah.
I did not. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he's actually really a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like Co, but like not Co. You know what I mean?
A different
But-
code.
but
But like a
built-
different Co
like
who
for
builds
LA
guitars.
Co.
but he builds them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like Co from LA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But knows
So-
what he's talking about when it comes to like hand making.
That's what
Right.
that's what I think is kind of cool.
Because Co handmade makes studios.
Yeah.
It's different.
So that's my whole thing is like, okay, eventually like that's what I want to get. I'm in the queue to do that. I'm like, dude, I want like that handmade. Like he's like his whole thing is like I'm doing 2 at a time, and I'm like he's like even said is like I'm gonna listen to your playlist while I build your guitar. And I'm like, oh, dude, you have a lot of like punk rock. You have a bunch of like
Bob Seger.
and then like anime music and stuff like that. He's like
Sinead
"Ooh."
O'Connor kind of thing.
And he's like, yeah, anime music like Sinead O'Connor, and
That's my favorite one.
and then I was like, oh, you're gonna get this, buddy. He's like, yeah, whatever you want, just like I don't want any cursing or no screaming. I'm like, well, what about high pitch like Japanese like singing? He's like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, you're in for it, buddy. Here's fucking 40 songs.
Dang.
My top 40. Anyway, I think we kind of like hit it off the
My
head.
top 40 aren't allowed.
Yeah, it's basically just you singing with a guitar.
I don't sing.
But I think is that it for brand loyalty?
Yeah, I mean,
I
think with instruments it's hard. Like if
Yeah.
you like when you were talking about pedals, like sometimes you have to go with what's affordable. Like for affordable guitars, I usually end up going with
That
something
is totally-
solid. Like
that-
I will
that's
go
totally-
with a Fender.
Yeah.
For me, I like Fender scale, right?
Well,
so
in
a
that-
Fender or a Squier.
Fender and Squier, you know what you're going to get from those.
Exactly. And so I know what my budget is and I find what I can get on my budget.
Yeah, and same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Fender.
I haven't bought a guitar in a long time.
Yeah, and I think
I'm out of the game.
Yeah, but basses.
Yeah.
basically, like I think with guitars, sometimes you make your bed and you're like, yeah, this is it. It's really
Customize
cool,
it to what you want.
Yeah.
But with pedals or whatever, like that is it.
You're buying for me, I buy a brand more with the pedals.
Yeah.
With guitar, I did a custom once, and it was not a bad experience. But being a dad, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
If I did have money, Kevin would definitely be on that same list. There's only a couple people that I would. Maybe him and like Gower.
Yeah, I think
maybe, but probably
Kevin,
Doug a little more.
Cower, and Kiesel. Oh, all Ks.
Haha.
3 of them.
What about Titan? You could break that up with Titan.
The KR1.
I said that.
KTKK.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, as far as amps, I'll stick with like Orange because I really like their brand. I like their like what they do for the punk rock scene. I like what they do for the DIY punk scene, and that's why I mean I stick with them. And also
So
like
you're buying so it sounds like across the board,
Yeah.
we buy a lifestyle.
yeah, exactly. Like you stick behind the brand and stuff like that. So I hit it off the head there, Jim. I love it.
Hey, that's what I do.
Okay, Jim, you had a topic that you wanted to bring up.
I did. I had a question for you guys. I write music. I play music, but I've never been successful really in trying to write lyrics. They always come out kind of horrible, basically. They come out horrible.
Like I'm
I'm going to call a spade here, and I write shitty lyrics.
I'm gonna cut to the chase here.
But you guys write good lyrics. I've listened to Playing Without a Pilot
Thank you.
quite a lot. My kids listen to it. They think it's awesome.
So sick.
But
You're like, why is this dude so fucking sad?
no, but you guys write
He's
good
a fucking
lyrics. And so
sad man.
I've just been curious, like, what's the process that you guys use, or do you guys have is it just a gift? But like, I'm just wondering if you guys can break it down for me and anybody else that might be curious. Sort of how you go about that.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle and I, it's cool with Playing Without a Pilot because we have 2 songwriters in the band. Recently we have 3. Our drummer, he is a songwriter, he is an MC, he does his own thing, and so like now you have like only 3 people in your band, and they're all songwriters, and we're all like at the point and old enough in our careers, quote unquote, that we have, you kind of throw ego to the side and you collaborate. But what I think is great is like we all have different styles, and we can't speak to Brian, our drummer, because he's not here. But Kyle and I can speak to it, so I think it's a kind of a cool topic. Kyle, do you want to hit it up first, or do you want me to like riff a little bit?
I could. I mean,
tell me your process, because the viewers, the listeners might not know.
Okay, so basically, I like to just write an idea. Just get an idea down. Let's say I'm thinking of something. I'm like, it would be a cool line. Write it down. Branch off of that. But usually it's like off of like a personal thing. It's not just like, oh, that sounds really cool. I wonder how it would sound in a song.
Yeah.
It's more like, something I'm going through that day. I'll write just a piece of it down. I'll write like just to remember it later, and then while I'm playing something, I can try and toss that in, and then I'm like, all right, I like that line, how it feels, or that's garbage. I have probably like hundreds of like half-filled pages in journals. Just I'll write, and what's cool like with the smartphone is you can have those too without having to like, oh, I've misplaced my notebook. You save it to a cloud, So
I still kind of like the idea of writing stuff
all right,
in a notebook.
but I have both.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I'm on the go, I'm not like, oh, well, I got my handy dandy notebook. That
if you don't have a notebook, it's not going to work out, Kyle. That's what I'm picking up.
I'm sweating on this thing all day. I've got to write something down on it.
When inspiration strikes, I like it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I have like a song, or like maybe like a rhythm part of a song written out, or maybe it's different. I mean, I can also, I like to look at the lyrics and see what else I can write to it.
Yeah.
But there's also been instances where, I'm listening to a song that maybe Brian wrote. He doesn't have any lyrics. I'm like, wait a minute.
I got
save
something.
This part for me.
Yeah.
I may have something for it.
Put a pin in that. And then, I got something. Yeah.
Like, maybe he does have something. Maybe I'll just ask, I may have something better for your ass. I may have something better. Let's try. So we're forgiving with that, like but sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think when we were younger, it was always everything I wrote, I'm gonna
That's
write my song. That's my song.
No matter how shitty it is, you're still gonna play though. We're still friends.
Yeah, and it was like we kind of took it as that, as like, whereas now it's like, okay, everything is a creative cloud thing, kind of like I write something, we jam it out, whatever. I'm like, it's kind of up to unless you really hold it to your chest, you're like, that's like, in case I was like, no, Kyle, that's gonna be my song, I really want to do something with it, then it's like we're old enough and like mature enough to say, okay, no, I get it, I know where you're coming from, this is your song. And same type of deal. I'm like, with Kyle, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, do you want me to write anything? And Kyle's like, no, I have lyrics, but I need help structuring it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can come into that and help him structure it and figure out where to go with like maybe different
like I have the verse or I have a chorus. And like, can you think of like I can't think of
transitions or
that
whatever
we haven't done already. Like, can you think? Because I'm an idiot.
I'm like, and then I no, it's not even that. It's like sometimes it's like even I know his vocal progression that he's doing. And I was like, okay, cool. I will like hear his vocal melody. I'm like, guess what? To me, that vocal melody that you're doing will fit into a different chord progression, which will fit better into the song. And I do it, and he's like, oh, you know what? I can sing to that. And so I will change it for him in his song that he's doing. But I'm like, we are collaborating in that sense. I'm like, we've done that a lot and many times to make the song behind what he's singing more interesting.
Yeah, with collaboration, sometimes like I stop, we collaborate, and then we all like to listen.
God, fucking piece of shit. I knew that joke was coming, and you're like, piece of shit. And he's
wait, what's the joke? I'm kidding.
Okay, so back in the day,
there was this guy. His name was Vanilla.
And he was so cold, he was like ice. So, I mean, for me,
he asked people to stop a lot and to listen.
And steal Queen songs. Anyways.
So, I mean, for me, I'm kind of similar to Kyle, whereas like I'm put a little more effort into the rhyme. I have to rhyme stuff. So as far as like the rigidity of like what you're going to do with lyrics, like I have to rhyme. I haven't grown out of that yet. Sometimes Kyle will do false rhymes and he'll like make it more about the melody and more about what he's saying. And to me, I'm like, I focus like first and foremost, it has to rhyme and be syncopated and patterned, because like that's how I sing. I'm more of a rhythmic, like I'm very like, and that's what's really cool about working with somebody different and who's your best friend and you're in the same band. I'm like, Kyle's a more melodic guy, and he's very like timing to him is like second nature. And for me, it's not. I have to make it like Legos for me. I have to make it simple. I have to see it almost like visually without actually like visually being there.
I can relate.
And so to me, I'm like, that's how my songs are. And I'll pick like a simple melody that I know the notes I can hit. And Kyle harmonizes, and he takes that. He's like, okay, you like you threw it to me like underhanded. I'm gonna fucking hit a home run with this motherfucker. And so like we'll take it like back and forth, and that's what I think is a really cool dynamic that we have that most people won't. And so like I can't.
So I'm screwed. I gotta find a Kyle.
Hold on. I mean, you can collaborate with people, but you also can't. You also don't have to rely on that. To me, like I'm still like you stripped back all like the background guitars, background vocals, and stuff like that, and it's still the song that like I'm getting out there into the world. Yeah. And so not only like
you could play on acoustic, you know, still.
And I I've done that before and stuff like that, and for me, like, to bring it more back into the vocal, like lyrical, like context, because I mean, you know, bringing it full circle here. I need to write something that means something to me, and it has to be something that carries a lot of weight. Because I'm like, back when I was younger, I'm like, I used to think that lyrics didn't have to be personal. They shouldn't be personal because like nobody's gonna care about what I have to say.
Yeah.
The thing is, people kind of don't, but they kind of do, because I'm like, if you have passion behind it and you give a fucking shit, then people will give a shit. Because, like, who's going to give more shit about your songs and your band? You. Nobody else will give more of a shit. You are the biggest fucking promoter of yourself and your songs and your heart, your feelings, everything behind it. So live that life and live those feelings and put them to words. I don't even care what the hell you're going to have to say, but fucking say it. Yeah. And to me, I'm like, I have a standard of like what I like because of the pop music and what I listen to. It has to rhyme. It has to have a melody. And I learned to fucking sing so I can sing my own songs. If you can't sing,
I can't.
You take lessons. It's no big deal. There's not a problem with like, I was a tattooed like guy in my 20s. Like I was going to a vocal teacher and she was teaching kids how to play piano. So basically a kid would leave her studio who was like 7 years old with like piano folder and book and carrying out to his mom while I was like waiting for my singing lesson. Throw your pride out the window.
Jim, you could do like a Tom Waits kind of thing, I'm sure. Yeah.
I can do.
Oh yeah.
I think you have it in you. There you go.
But the thing is, like,
there you go. You got it, dude.
But your voice
that's what I do in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I get you.
I'm trying to push one out.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go all the way there.
But
get your mind out of the toilet, pal.
But yeah. Wah, wah, wah. But yeah, no, I mean, your voice is your voice. So like the fact, like, you know, to carry on with that, I'm like, what you want to say, really say it and really own up to your own life. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, I never thought anybody would want to hear about my gripes of like relationships and, you know, falling out friendships or like, you know, people that I've, you know, have lost throughout the years. I'm like, the thing is, I'm like, people do because you are so, like, you care about it. The thing is, if you care about it, then other people will. Because if you phone it in, like you phone in these bullshit feelings, people will hear that you're phoning these bullshit feelings. You can't just
rhyme to rhyme. You gotta work through it, and you gotta throw away shit that doesn't work.
And you know, on the latest record that we did, shout out to Just Another Unsung Tragedy. Like the happiest song on the record, which is probably Falling for You. That was the hardest song for me to write because I had to write it as like somebody in love, somebody happy, somebody infatuated, somebody so excited. And I wrote it in the biggest heartbreak of my life. But the thing is, I had to like tune into, and I feel bad because I was actually dating somebody, but I wasn't in love with her at the point.
Fair enough.
But I had to like figure out
dickhead
the feelings that I was in love with, like with the past one. Like I was so infatuated with this other person, but you may be dating somebody else and you maybe haven't got to that point. And so to me, I'm like, I was writing these songs. I'm like, okay, I need to like put these out. Like, what would somebody in love? And like, I was in love like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm like, what did I feel? I'm like, I had to dig that shit out.
Sometimes you just got to find like a point in time in your life.
So, and you hone in on it, right?
Yeah, it's not happening at the moment, but you can mean, for me, I can go like, that's how I was feeling. I'm going to try and time travel, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe that's not, I don't know if that even makes any fucking sense.
No, it does. I'm like, really, like, put yourself in those shoes. I'm like, because we've all felt those, like, different feelings.
I'm not writing love songs, Brian.
Well, yeah. You can write, like, you know, and to me,
a lot of songs I write are sad, actually.
Yeah, to me, like,
what do you have to be sad about?
What do you got, dude?
Like, I don't know. Like, I just finished.
I'm all out of these beers, dude.
I just finished.
I'll write something.
Oh, here, have mine.
I just finished my Zaw, so I'm all sad now. Oh, I'm happy. I got a beer.
It spins though, but it is twist.
Like,
for those that can't see at home,
it spun around.
Kyle just started.
It gave me false hope.
I
got bloody
Kyle
hands.
cannot open a bottle with his bare hands.
He's got these bare hands, but they're not like, you know, bare hands.
It spun though, so you have to take my word on that one.
That's a fucking spinner.
No.
But it spun like 3 times, and then my hand is like, it looks like a truck ran over my hand.
But so what we're getting at is, like, I don't know. To me, I'm like, I really think you got to put yourself into the position that whatever song you want to write. And honestly, like, sometimes I'm like, I can't say like, you'll feel the song that you want to be into when you just pick up the guitar, bro. I'm like, no. Have a little bit of direction of where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, like, I will say it's different for everybody, I'm assuming, but I have to really, like, pick a key that I want to sing in, and then I'll follow it, because I'll follow my chords that I want to do. And because, like, you know, I'm so into, like, my chords and my chord degrees, like, it's to my own detriment that I'm, like, very, like, strict on my chord degrees and, like, the majors and minors and whatever, and I haven't ventured much into 7ths and, like, 9ths and stuff like that, which I need to. But, like, I'll
write that down for later.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm working on it.
I
like,
will.
I still try and learn guitar and more to help my songwriting. Hasn't yet, but, you know, I will.
Yeah.
I think just maybe even the more you learn on guitar, maybe, like, you know, the more comfortable you are with that, like, you'll stumble upon these rhythms and melodies. So I think that's kind of helpful with, like, how much you know on guitar right now. And how much you know about your tone and what you're trying to seek, you're going to find your voice. And that's kind of, for me, I'm like, whatever you want to say, the thing is, I'm like, you'll never be ready. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, nobody is ever ready to write. Nobody's ever ready to perform. The thing is, you just do it.
Yeah. And like I said,
get that.
I've written songs about, like, personal things, but also things like I just kind of imagine being in a certain position.
Yeah,
and I'm like, some of those are actually some of my favorite to play and sing.
And some of the sometimes I'm like, you know, I mean, not to throw Kyle under the bus, but I'm
Do
like,
it.
I
I'm
have
ready.
a whole record about my whole life and, like, love and loss and stuff like that, and how, like, you know, I was hatred and for everyone and myself. But Kyle wrote a song, I'm like, and we threw it on the record too. I'm like, it was, like, so important to him in, like, maybe not just, like, my whole life that I was going through, but he was going through the same thing. He went through something of, like, a loss and, like, his parents splitting up and, like, dealing with that. And I'm like, he wrote it. It was something personal from his heart. And the thing is, like, it was melodic. And it was.
That's why it worked.
And,
That's
and it was good. I'm like,
very sexy.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
But very, very sad. Very sad.
Sexy sad.
Yeah, he had all the vibratos in the right places, if you know what I'm saying. So, and the thing is, I'm like, it was, like, such a great song to, like, that thing is, I'm like, that was just, like, he got it off his chest. And it was something, he just wrote the song lyrically wise. It just was something he had to say. I'm like, it's something he had to, like, comment from, like, an adult, like, an adult's perspective, seeing your parents split and that you're in your own marriage. I'm like, okay, this might not, I'll take what I've learned from this and carry it onto my own. I can't ever bring that into me. Like, I don't understand what that's like because I'm not married. And, like, but for him,
you gotta watch from the sidelines. You know, you got it.
And the thing is, I got that. And to me, I'm like, that's a huge part. And I'm like, I thought that was really cool. So
it was good therapy.
The thing is, like, and sometimes, like, yeah, exactly. As much of a joke as that is, I'm like, music is a therapy. You listen to stuff and you write stuff to be a therapy. So, like, I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say.
And there's so many different ways to write a song, I think.
And, you know, make
you
it
can
something.
Copy someone, even.
Kind of. And just make it something that,
copy Playing Without a Pilot.
Yeah, just
do it, dude.
Copy and paste. I'll just send you all of our, like
the masters. Yeah.
I'll just send you the master like Pro Tools file. You can have it.
Oh, all right.
Just
Guys, look what I wrote.
give me one of those beers, and you can have the whole thing.
I made this. You take it. I made this.
But that's all I had. I mean, honestly, like the thing is, like you'll be most satisfied when it's something that you want to listen to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if nobody else wants to, fuck them. Fuck them. Like, who gives a fucking shit what the hell they think?
It's like the thing you made in ceramics, and your parents like, oh, I'm gonna put that on the shelf. They love it. Mm-hmm. You love it, but no one else does.
That's to be honest. I mean, not to bring it down to that point, but I'm like,
would you guys be my musical parents then?
Send us your shit.
Send it to us.
Like my songs.
Yeah. We're gonna be like my pedals, but like my songs. Boom, bingo.
Perfect. You heard it, folks. Send them your junk.
You heard it first. Send it to the Tone Jerks.
Send it to Ramblin'6strings.
No. If you guys have songs that I'm like as much as like jerks as we are, I'm like I love creativity and I love people like writing songs. I'm like there's nothing I will never badger anybody for writing songs. Keep doing it and like follow your fucking heart. But I'm like if you guys have songs and you want like creative input or just any type of input, send us email thetonejerks@gmail.com. We'll fucking we'll get back to you. It'll be Kyle and/or I getting back to you. But I think we're gonna head this up. Like let's bring it in for a landing.
That's pretty good, actually.
Thanks.
We're gonna do that.
747.
I was going C-130.
Okay, it's gonna be a canned sound effect right there. But before we go, we just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Jim, is there anywhere that people can check you out on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, or just like fuck it, just like check the groups and just do
check the groups, find me.
Yeah,
join some groups.
I'm Rambling 6strings on Instagram, but just Jim Bowers on Facebook.
Just do the groups. You'll know him.
Yeah, you'll find
see him lurking in there. He'll like a couple things.
If you do something,
I probably won't like it.
Don't mention pineapple on pizza.
I love
or don't diss.
Yes,
don't diss
do not
it.
diss it. Always mention it.
I'm gonna ban your ass.
always.
You gotta throw the ban hammer. If you do that shit.
Like pineapple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of pineapple.
All right. Well, on that note, if you guys do
what about
like
pineapple colada,
pina colada,
if you like pina coladas,
kinda, but like with pineapple instead of the pina.
Like dancing in the rain. If you hate yoga. Anyways.
God damn, Brian.
Okay. So if you guys really do like the show, you guys can leave a little comment and rating on iTunes. If you guys want to give us a little bit of feedback on iTunes, it'll help us out. Give us 5 stars or no stars. Either way, it's cool. But if you guys want to follow along, like Jim said, we're in the Facebooks. We have the social medias. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
All the medias.
Search the Tone Jerks. But
just Google it.
Google it. Just Google it. But if you guys really like the show, you guys can help support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, but you double down, you get an extra episode every week. And
if you go for like $10 a month, you still get an extra episode.
Yeah, you get nothing. Oh, we actually send you shirts if you guys
I got a shirt.
Add more and all the cool shit. But if you guys just for supporting the show, we want to give you a fucking shout out because it's like you guys are.
It's the least we could do.
They're really swell guys. Just do it.
Yeah.
Who said that?
You guys
I don't know.
You guys are helping us out, so the least we could do is give you a shout out. So Kyle, you got a listy list.
Yeah, I got a listy list here.
Give it to me. Let's run through this motherfucker.
We have Co Schneider. We have Paul Pennington, Johnny Ray, Michael Newman, Abe Newman,
cousins,
Doug Gann, Jamie Davis, Jason Fuzzmonger, Digger from Fatfoot Effects. We have RJ from Teletalks. We have Joseph from Like My Pedals.
Yes.
Bruce Banana.
Yeah.
We have Jim Bowers.
Jimmy Boo.
Oh, yeah, Jim Bowers.
Live in the flesh.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
I want to check that one.
Will Lehue. We have Leon from Pelican Noiseworks. Doug Christ. Andrew Walsh. Adam Rohrer. And Doug King.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for helping support the Patreon. And I think that's it. We're blowing hot air. We will see you next time. We love you. Thank you, Jim.
I see you, buddy.
Bye-bye.